All right, thank you guys. I really appreciate you being here today with this class. The class today, the lesson plan is going to be on word webs. Okay, what a word web is, I'll give you an example. I'm going to use the word frighten. Okay, so frighten, with its first basic form, is collocations. And what that is like, an example, a frightened child in a sentence, easily frightened, terribly frightened. That's our collocations. The next thing is the word family. So in the family you can have frighten, which is the adjective, fright, which is the noun, or frighten, which is the verb. So that helps being the structure of a sentence, using it in a sentence. The next section is antonyms. Okay, antonyms like unafraid would be one, unstressed would be one, and calm. Okay, so it's the opposite of the actual word. The next one is synonyms, so that means that would be like or the same. So scared, afraid, petrified, or terrified. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to hand you one of these sheets as an example, and we're going to, as a group, you'll each pick a word, your favorite word, and then on the back, I have some pens here. On the back, as a group, you're going to build a word web each, and we're going to take about 7 to 10 minutes to do that. Before we do that, I want you to, there's a principle of teaching English to a second language, as a second language, and it's called multiple intelligences. Okay, so this is a principle that has 8 categories, so I'll briefly go through it. The first one is verbal linguistics, so that's like using word puzzles, synonyms for the words, antonyms for the words. So kind of like what we're doing today, that's part of using vocabulary and building sentences in the word. The next one would be logical, mathematical. Sentences in a box arranged in a chronological order. So sentences, you can have them start out A, B, C, and go all the way down to the alphabet in a sentence, all in chronological order. Okay, visual spacious. So this would be like if you're, example, looking at your floor plan of your house and a certain position on a board or a map. It's something very visual. The next one is bodily or kinesthetic. This is where students would interview one or more students. It's also about using your body language. When you're in a group of people, how you use your body language to communicate. And it explained like daily circumstances and things of that nature. The next would be musical. Okay? So in one of our other lesson plans, we're going to do a musical where you could take a group of sentences or even a song to explain the sentence. Like, for example, if I was talking about Christmas carols or Christmas songs, and I wanted to learn the basic words in the sentence, I could do Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, songs like that, talking about Christmas. The next section is intrapersonal. Okay, intrapersonal is the retrospect, something unique and personal. So for example, it's very personal, it's intra, it's personal to us. So here's an example. There once was a man from Beijing, all his life he hoped to be king. So he put on a crown, which quickly fell down, that small, silly man from Beijing. Okay? So in different cultures, there's different sayings, different sentence structures that are very personable to them. Okay, then the next one is interpersonal, and basically this is where students get together in a couple in a group and where they act out the dialogue. Okay. And then the last one is naturalistic, and basically this is just words in their natural state and how you build on them in their natural state. Okay, so as we go through this lesson plan, As you go through it, you're doing word web. The last couple of minutes, I would like to talk about, and you pick out what multiple intelligence we discussed today that we actually worked with today. Okay, so let's take a few minutes and each build a word. Let's build a word web together. Okay, so as a group, talk amongst yourselves, and each pick a word, and then on the back of it, build it up. And then what I'd like you to do after you're done, I'd like you each to come up on the board, take your word, build it out on the chalkboard, and then give an example. Okay, an example story. So like I'll give you a story using frightened. When I was a little boy, I went on a fishing trip with my uncle, and that night we had campfire stories, and my uncle told us a couple of scary stories about bears coming into the campsite and stealing the food, and with their claws opening a couple of the tents. Now, no one got hurt, but it was a very scary story. So that night, I had a dream or a nightmare about how frightened I was as the bear came into the camp, and we woke up and went out of our tents to face the bear, and all the bear wanted was food, and then we scared him off.
Okay.
So do you have any questions before you get started?
I think I'm willing to try it.
Is it just any word?
Any of your favorite word, and you're going to build it with the collocations, the antonyms, the synonyms, and the word family. Okay?
Okay, let's work together as a team too.
Okay. What word did you want to work on?
Oh, I just picked the funny thing is that even the antonyms and synonyms can play the same way, but amaze. He will amaze us with his teaching skill. And at the end we will say that we were amazed, but all during the while he was an amazing teacher.
Those are good.
Same verb, same word in a noun form, a verb form, and an adjective form. The synonyms might be bored, boring, or bore.
Yes.
A teacher can bore you, or you were bored while they were being taught, or you could say the material was boring.
Okay, those are both good. I picked a noun, and so it's a little bit harder.
So surprises. We might be surprised. It could be surprising to discuss it.
Yes, it could be. So my collocations, I think, are, because I chose food, so there's Mexican food, Chinese food, good food, unhealthy food. How do you turn that into a person, I suppose, a foodie? You could be a foodie. I was trying to think of verb, though, with that would be, I don't know, that's not a good one for having a verb of. But, yeah, so I got.
So the example you're using is food?
That was the word, but that was a bad one to choose, I think, because you can't have adjectives and verbs of that word very well.
And it's a little harder building the
It would have been
synonyms
better
and-
if, yeah, it would have been better if I'd chosen more of an adjective. or
Usually
adverb.
one an action word is the best to build a
Okay.
word web, is an action
So
word.
feed.
Feed,
There,
that
feed.
would be better,
That
yeah,
would be
so
better.
Feeding.
feed, feeding, yeah. Yeah, feeding, fed, that works better,
We were well fed after feeding on pie,
yes.
which was the
He
promise.
was well
said
fed, yes,
Which was a promise by the instructor.
That he
Yeah.
would feed us.
yes, he did say he would feed us. Okay, that's better, so we switched a little bit.
So an action word seems to be the key to it. Starting off with a
Yeah.
noun didn't work, but an
Yeah.
action word that can have a noun form seems to work.
Yeah, so if you do, is that good, did you want us to do a different one?
Run, ran, running.
Yeah.
No,
Running.
yeah, so with your example, then build your web on the back of your sheet, and then when you're done, I'll stop the video for a second, I'll turn it around, then I'll start the video, and you take it and put it up on the board, and then just tell a short little story to go with the word.
You want us to write it out, then?
I want to write it up on the
Bada
board.
boom, bada bang, obviously we're
He's,
here in food.
he's ready for it, why don't you
Are
just
you-
give
are
him the
you ready?
board and he can do it right there.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay,
You
great.
wouldn't even have to
All
stop
right,
it
so-
necessarily, he could just write it.
Just swing the camera.
I will just swing it.
Slow
Swing it.
motion. There you go.
Is it?
Swing,
Can you
swing, and swung.
can you say it yourself?
Swing, swung,
Yeah, he
Can you
swung
see?
the camera.
Yeah, I
Can't
swung.
swing. Okay.
Bill Larry.
Well, anytime you're about to be taught, you might wonder if you're going to be bored to tears, for fear that the teacher will bore you with the material, because the material might feel like it's boring to begin with. But in fact, it might amaze you with its application and create a truly amazing lesson to fulfill their promise that you will in fact be amazed at what you learned at the end of the lesson. But to make sure that we have some antonyms, which are bored and amazed, we also have some synonyms. So you might be surprised and surprising. Oh, there we go. How do we do, teacher? Did we learn the concept?
I think that's great. So let me ask you, what was the main word that you were building up? What was the main word?
I started with amazed,
You started with amazed. Okay, great.
and then I picked an antonym, which was bored.
Okay, and then why don't you use the collocation? Use it in a brief three or 2 word sentence or 2 word.
Amaze. The promise was the teacher would amaze us with what we could learn.
Okay.
And when we were done, it was in fact amazing because we were amazed at how we could use this new grammar.
Oh, you did use those. You did. Fine. Okay, great.
Good.
Very good.
Swing
Very
the
good,
handle.
Larry.
Swing
Okay.
the handle,
Hmm?
You can
just
swing
move
it.
that handle,
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
Okay, great. Very good. Good job. That was awesome.
He's good with words.
He is very good with words. All right. And did you want to come up and show us what you got?
You want me to anyway? Okay, so I did originally, I chose food, which is a noun, but we chose, it would be better if we did feed
Okay.
or feeding. Okay, so you could, the past tense would be fed, or you could be well fed. Also, you can be feeding, and that it's also food would be a noun, where you can have good food, Chinese food, Mexican food, bad food, unhealthy food. There's lots of different ways to use the food. And then you can also have, you can be a foodie, which